This show is proudly sponsored by TraderCobb.com, the leaders in checklist-based trading strategy. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I'll teach you a literal checklist so you can tick off items and be decisive very quickly. Get across to TraderCobb.com where there's a bunch of free content there for you to have a look at. And of course, if you're interested in having me come to your city, click and register for the live events coming up and filling fast. Have a great day. Visit TraderCobb.com now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Show, talking business in blockchain.
G'day everybody and welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Hey, we seem to have had a bit of a bounce overnight. It is definitely looking a lot better at the moment. Still a little bit of work to be done, but I tell you right now that we've got a lot to talk about at this stage in time. Why? Well, we've reversed our losses on the day, which was at one stage down quite significantly, under 10,000 in fact, and now we are above 10,000. Matter of fact, just tapping on the door of 11,000 on the highs of that particular candle. Now, where to next from here, and what do I see from my views? Well, this has been a pullback in the market that has been fairly decent, really. I mean, let's talk about the percentage pullback that we've had. Of course, 2017 saw 30 to 40%. Well, we've hit bang on 30 pretty much, and we've come back into what? Well, we've rejected 10,000 on this particular daily candle that I'm looking at right now. We've also rejected the 61.8% Fibonacci. Now, let me just see if that coincides with the last higher low or significant higher low than anything else, and it does not. But it's definitely looking a lot better. If I move now to the 2-day chart, and we have pulled back into that cradle zone quite nicely. We've got good convergence, and this does look like, there's a lot still to be done. Don't forget that. This does look like it could be the pullback. We might see it further upside from here. Now, I say might because it's what I've got here is I've got 2 or 3 things. 10,000, good trend, pullback, and 61.8%. Now, obviously, I can't count because that's 4. But it's not, for me, it's not a trade. The candle's too big. I'm not looking at taking anything on this at the moment. But I am open to further upside here, especially if that daily candle, the high of that daily candle when it closes, if it breaks the high of that, then yeah, I will be moving to the lower timeframes, and I'll be looking for opportunities to get long once again. If I look at the midterm timeframes here on the 4-hour, well, it's merely just a pullback, so I'm not getting too excited there. If I look at the 8-hour, well, sure, there's still room for us to create a little cradle there and fall further. So I'm not getting ahead of myself just yet, and I don't think anybody else should. It's certainly a positive thing to see, but this could just be a pullback in a further dip down, a pullback on the higher timeframes like the 8, 12-hour to a further downside. That's potentially still on the cards, but at the moment I'm keeping a very close eye on it. Bitcoin's at 10,830 is actually up 1.79% after being down I think 4 or so percent as well. Magic. Ethereum again has tapped on that 279, and my goodness me, what a bloody strong level that's been. We keep testing it, and we fail to get below it. Very strong here on Ethereum. It's look, it's a point in time where this could be a very strong defining moment for Ethereum. That level of resistance right there, around that 279, 280 level, it's held so beautifully well. It was resistance on the way up. Now it's supporting the price as we've pulled back. Look, it's been a pretty hefty pullback. If I talk about percentage-wise moves, we've seen a percentage pullback of 25%. Now keep in mind that Ethereum this year hasn't been quite as volatile as what Bitcoin has. So for it to pull back 25%, it is quite a decent pullback. And just throwing some Fibonacci in there as well, it's also on the 61.8% Fibonacci point as well. So again, we're sitting at 290.281, down 0.9%, starting to look a little bit different on the charts, maybe starting to look a little bit more bullish. Ooh, what have we got here? Ooh, all right, I'll save that for later, see how we go there, maybe a breakout. EOS is a 589. It's looking pretty average, to be honest. It's hanging around that $6 mark. There is some support there. So this is something that I would be looking at from my point of view to potentially have in the list for a short. Now, if the market doesn't continue to recover throughout today and it does decide to take a leg down, I want to be positioned whereby I do have some options to be short, and EOS may actually be one of them at 589, down 2.64%. Stellar Lumens is just rubbish. Not really worth talking about. It's 10.2 cents. It's down 2.73%, and by far the messiest chart you've ever seen. XRP, well, it sat on that support. It rejected that support. There are lower highs in there, but that support level that I saw around 39 cents is now gone. It was taken out. There's a tap through it, and I'm no longer interested in that at all for any trading today. But we're sitting at 39.9 cents, down 2.16%. Litecoin again holding above that 109 support level, the old resistance, resistance a little while back. But I've got to be honest, it's a pretty average looking level in my eyes. I'm not too interested in doing anything at Litecoin right now. It's at 118.77. It's at 3.8% down. On to Bitcoin Cash, another one that looks quite average in my book. A little bit of support down there, but nothing really at 385. We're currently at 409, holding above 400. And of course, we're going to have to sit back and wait and see what happens here for the rest of the session to see how we close and then into the new trading day. Binance, well, it's actually down quite a bit today. The biggest underperformer of the top 10. It's at $31.85, down 4.27%. And again, this is not a project I'm looking to be trading, buying, investing, anything in at the moment. Not to say it's not a good project. That's not my objective here. I'm a trader. I look at trends, and there is not a good enough trend there for me to be active. On to Tron, now holding its ground, 3.2 cents. It seems to be spending a lot of time around that 3 to 3.5 cents this year, and it's doing it again today, down 1.53% at 3.2. And finally, in the top 10 that we have Cardano. Cardano is at 3.11% down, sitting at 8 cents, almost flat, and there is some support around where we are. That 7.7 area we have rejected a number of times now. Again, though, the key level for me on ADA is getting up through that 10-cent mark. So again, very interesting time to be alive. Bitcoin is back up again. I'm not suggesting that we're going to move higher today. What I am suggesting is to keep a very close eye on how this daily candle closes, and if we break the high of that daily candle, if we do see that, there is a number of reasons why the probability for further upside is more likely than downside. And if that's the case, when I get some midterm time frame trends, you know what I'm going to be doing. Guys, we're running out of spots on these courses. Get yourself registered. If you are registered, don't delay any longer. Lock it up. I'll speak to you at the event. Take it easy. Bye for now. This show is proudly sponsored by TraderCobb.com, the leaders in checklist-based trading strategy. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I'll teach you a literal checklist so you can tick off items and be decisive very quickly. Get across to TraderCobb.com, where there's a bunch of free content there for you to have a look at. And of course, if you're interested in having me come to your city, click and register for the live events coming up and filling fast. Have a great day. Visit TraderCobb.com now.